Chiefs Kingdom, we have to talk. Today's headline is spicy. Chiefs gave Fulton $20 million to start, and he might never get the job. That's not a rumor floating around in July. That's a real conversation right now as camp battles and early season rotations shake out. So let's unpack what's real, what's noise, and what it means for a defense with championship expectations. If you're new here, welcome to Kansas City Chiefs Today. We drop daily videos on breaking news, rumors, game recaps, and that honest fan commentary you won't get anywhere else. We're on the road to 5,000 subs, and your voice matters in this conversation. Buckle up. This one touches the secondary, Spag scheme, and the AFC playoff picture. When you hand a veteran corner a 2-year bag to stabilize the outside, the intent is obvious. Line him up opposite your proven ace and let the defense cook. In Kansas City, that ace is Trent McDuffie, who flexes inside and outside and erases matchups with technique and IQ. The plan was simple: pair McDuffie's versatility with a starting caliber outside corner and keep the pipeline of young DBs developing in defined roles. But the Chiefs also love competition. Jalen Watson has length and ball skills. Joshua Williams has taken big boy snaps in huge moments. Shamari Connor can step into nickel, blitz, or roll high depending on the disguise. The theme here is flexibility, and Steve Spagnuolo's defense thrives when the corners can press, carry vertically, and pass routes off without panic. Drop Fulton into that room and you can see why the staff like the idea. Physical at the line, enough long speed to stay attached, and experience with zone match concepts that mimic what KC leans on. On paper, it made sense: stabilize one boundary spot, free up McDuffie to be a game plan tool, and let the pass rush get home behind tight coverage. Then reality hit. Roles are earned, not promised. The ramp-up, the installs, and the preseason tape open the door for a conversation none of us expected to be this loud. Is the starter a title, or a competition with real consequences? Let's start with the depth chart ripple effect. If Fulton doesn't lock down the outside, KC has 2 immediate pivot options: lean heavier on the Watson/Williams tandem outside, or slide McDuffie to the boundary more often and work nickel and dime with different bodies inside. Neither is a crisis. Spags has built-in answers, but it reshapes how you disguise and how you blitz. Because the Chiefs' pressure package is married to trust on the perimeter. When Spags sends 5 or 6, corners must challenge timing and refuse free access. If one boundary spot becomes matchup dependent week to week, your pressure menu narrows, and you get fewer gotcha calls on third down. Second ripple: snap distribution. The Chiefs love rotating DBs to keep legs fresh in December and January. But if the staff has to cover for a shaky starter, rotations become reactive instead of proactive. You're chasing matchups instead of dictating them. That can bump a safety into more man coverage, bring a nickel into run fits he's not perfect for, or force a rookie into a high-leverage rep he wasn't slated to take. Third ripple: confidence. Corners live on short memories and swagger. If the building senses hesitation at one spot, opponents smell it too. The league will isolate, stack, and motion until you prove you can hold up repeatedly. Every defensive call that leans into that vulnerability becomes a test. One misstep and you're giving up explosives, which have been the one thing this defense has been determined to erase. And then there's the money conversation. Fans see the number and equate it with starter or bust. Inside the building, the calculus is different. The question isn't, did we pay a starter? It's, did we buy outcomes? If the outcomes are sticky coverage, fewer explosives, and more third and long looks for Chris Jones and the rush, money well spent. If the outcomes are doubt and adjustments that limit Spag's toolbox, the front office and staff have to pivot fast. So what's the plan if Fulton doesn't seize the job right away? Expect a veteran rotation with opponent-specific rules. Against big box-out receivers, you'll see length on the boundary, Watson or Williams, while McDuffie takes the tougher option with help shaded late. Against quick separators, expect more press bail and trap coverage, where the corner plays off leverage and the nickel jumps underneath. You'll also see simulated pressures to protect the perimeter. KC can mug linebackers in the A-gaps and drop out late, creating quick throws into congested windows. that disguises any uncertainty outside by muddying the quarterback's picture at the snap. If you don't hold up in pure man for a full 2.5 seconds, you win with confusion and timing. Another lever, safety rotation. Justin Reed and Brian Cook can spin late to discourage boundary fades and outbreakers, baiting quarterbacks into the honey holes where spinners are waiting. That reduces the island duty on any one corner and forces the offense to string together patient drives. If Fulton is working his way back into rhythm, this buys him rep volume without asking him to live alone in 0 or 1 high for 30 snaps. Don't overlook run fits either. Spags asks his corners to tackle. If KC wants to keep the disguise game alive, corners have to crack replace and close edges like linebackers. A corner who triggers fast against condensed sets gets more trust on early downs, and trust on early downs earns you the call on late downs. That's how you climb back to starter in this room. Do the dirty work and let the splash plays follow. I get why the headline hits hard. 20 million sounds like set it and forget it. But remember what this defense values: multiplicity. If the best version of the Chiefs is McDuffie moving like a queen on a chessboard, then everyone else has to be a stable piece around him. That might be Fulton in week 10, not week 2. It might be Fulton on certain matchups, Watson on others, and Williams closing games because he's hot. The media will frame this as buyer's remorse. Fans will ask, why pay if he's not starting? Here's the counter: you paid to expand your options. If the battle brings out a better Fulton by mid-season and raises the standard for everyone else, the investment pays twice. Iron sharpens iron, and in this secondary, reps are currency. That said, accountability matters. If the tape shows hesitancy, clean it up. If penalties creep in, fix your hands and feet. If communication busts happen, own the call and reset. Chiefs Kingdom can live with growing pains. What they won't accept is the same mistake on 4 different Sundays. Zoom out to January. The AFC runs through quarterbacks who punish your worst cover man. The Bills will flood your zones. The Bengals will isolate and hunt matchups. The Ravens will motion you into conflicts, then hit the perimeter if you don't tackle. In the West, your own division demands answers on the outside every week, whether it's big bodies at the boundary or speedy slot-outs that become wheel routes down the sideline. If KC shores up the CB2 spot, whoever wears it, the rest of the defense becomes terrifying again. Chris Jones gets late down tee-offs. Linebackers can carry seams without peeking back anxiously. And the offense gets a few extra possessions because the defense stole them. That's the margin in playoff football. 1 boundary snap held on 3rd, and 6 can be the difference between hosting a title game and taking your gear home. So where do we land? The headline is a warning light, not a death sentence. The Chiefs paid for a veteran presence at a premium position, and the room around him is talented enough to force excellence. If Fulton wins that job by November, this whole topic becomes a footnote on the path to another deep run. If he doesn't, the depth chart still gives KC multiple ways to play winning defense. Here's what I'll be watching the next few weeks. First, technique at the line. Patient feet, violent hands, no panic on inside stems. Second, trust in leverage. Don't grab, don't peek, play through the upfield shoulder and live to contest at the catch point. Third, tackling. Get carriers on the ground, and drives early, and earn the blitz calls that make this defense special. Alright, Chiefs Kingdom, your turn. Are you worried about the CB2 spot, or are you confident the rotation will sort itself out by mid-season? Who would you start on the boundary next to McDuffie right now, and why? Drop your takes in the comments and join the road to 5,000 subs here on Kansas City Chiefs Today.